Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Flying and Eating. Today, let's go somewhere and do something, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey guys, it's Adam here. In the last few episodes of Flying and Eating, we did adventures throughout the US territories in the Pacific, Guam and CNMI. Of course, we also went to Japan, where we are right now. But today, we're sort of going back to America. We're going to get access to the US Navy base in Yokosuka.
Ohio gozaimasu. Day totally unknown. Here's the plan. We're heading down to Yokosuka, which is the big Shenmue area that I've shown you guys in previous videos. Big fan of that. We're meeting up with a buddy of mine named Brett, who I've mentioned a couple of times. He hung out with me and my mom on her one trip here. I've known him for years. I haven't seen him in even, a couple of years, which really sucks. But now we'll actually get to. He may or may not appear on camera. He's very camera shy, so I don't know about that. But we're also going to just hang out in Yokosuka, and we're actually going to head over to the American side, unless something doesn't work out, which will be very cool, and I can show you guys that. Kind of like Camp Zama, I showed you guys that before, so we'll be able to check that out. I've actually been to the American side. It's pretty interesting, but as a Shenmue fan, it'll also be very unique to be able to show to some people, because if you were a fan of that game, you would basically have to know that all the bad guys in that game came from that side, because it was all US sailors and stuff at the time, because in the 80s, the Americans were not particularly nice in that area, so it's kind of understandable. So, Sunshine's back. What's up? So we're officially down in Yokosuka now. We're going to head over to like Debuita Street and all that sort of normal Shenmue nerd stuff, and then we will, my buddy, who, again, I have another buddy. I have so many buddies. You guys have tell by watching this channel. I got another buddy who's military who's going to hook us up, let us on the base, at least myself and Brett. Sunshine over here is not doing that. He's going on his own adventure to the top of the mountain store. So this is an old reference on my main channel. Like 5 years ago, I went to a kind of like a hard off. It's called Watman's, at the top of a mountain near the bottom of the peninsula that we're on. And you actually want to go up there.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun hike.
It was not a fun hike, but the store itself was great 5 years ago. I have no idea what it's like now, but I assume no responsibility if you only find garbage. A little pro tip for Shenmue fans. When you come out of the Yokosuka Chuo station here, if you turn right here, you'll see this tourist office. If you go inside, they actually have Shenmue guide maps in there. Now, what's interesting about that is they have the standard one that's been out for a while, the English one with the game art on it. For the people who are really into the Shenmue anime, and of course the weebs out there, they actually have the Shenmue anime version. This is actually completely exclusive to this little building right here.
Alrighty, just got here to the station. I'm gonna start my uphill climb to the Watman on top of the mountain. Obviously, Adam didn't want to have to deal with mountain climbing today, so this will be fun.
There is actually kind of a definitive border, like a social border between Japan and not America, but like the Americana Zone, this Disneyland America Zone, and it's right here. So right here on this side where it's like this is all Japan. Everything's just out here, just straight up Japan. On that side is where you start to get into like everything is kind of American compatible or tourist compatible. Like you'll see in a second if you haven't seen my previous videos, but I can even point this out further. Right here on this side, you can still get these little metal dividers that just kind of look like this. The second you cross this border, you now get the ones that have the stars on them, because you're in like little America town, basically. Everything suddenly is in English, and it caters not, you can see the US flag on a lot of random stuff, that being their #1. See, there's the US flag again. But also a lot of other countries, because there's a lot of countries that use this area, allied countries, Australia, places like the Philippines, various European countries, etc., that all just, I've seen them. I've seen many sailors from different countries wandering around this area. So there's a lot of like Filipino restaurants and, et cetera, et cetera. It's just kind of this cool, like mutual meetup place. But there is still actually an American military base, which is what we're going to be going to today, unless something doesn't allow that for whatever reason. But that one actually is full-blown American sovereign territory. Like, it is in every conceivable way controlled by the United States. So once we cross that border, we are actually no longer in Japan. Like, right now we are in Japan. We're just kind of in this, for lack of a better way of putting it, this is like an economic cultural zone where it's just like everybody's like, hey, we're getting along, and let's get together and share ideas and share culture and share food and all that stuff. But beyond the, like down there, you see that bus, beyond that there's that white gate. beyond that gate is the United States of America, and I've only been on that side once, and today we're gonna do it. But as you can see, that's basically what it is. Like, it even says international. This is an international neutral zone, and there you go. If you're a Shenmue fan, they're sailors, I'm telling you, they're everywhere. They're not hard to find. Rio didn't try very hard. But this area on this side is bizarre. It's kind of like the Disneyland interpretation of what America is. I mean, look at this. The street sign is the Chrysler Building. On the opposite side of this street, which is Dobuita Street, there is actually like one of those, but it's the Empire State Building. And I think the building like beyond there actually has like a giant Statue of Liberty on it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, to all my Shenmue fans, fellow Shenmue fans out there, this is the Mecca that I've accidentally been on multiple times. But again, I highly advise to go watch the previous video about that, because this today is going to be a new adventure. Oh, and to anybody watching who's like, what's a Shenmue? It's my favorite video game of all time. It just happens to take place right here. I'm sitting here on the ground at Dobuita Street with my guide maps and the Pluto, just kind of being a tourist, being a bakagaijin.
So you can kind of see what we're going to have to go against. Hopefully it's not directly on top of the mountain. Maybe I'm regretting some of my decisions already.
With my military buddy just kind of waiting around for us, with Sunshine off on his adventure and Brett not here yet, I wanted to get some food, so I'm doing this by myself. This is an Indian place called Indian Curry House Lotus. It's right here by Dobuita Street, like right around the corner. This one I've actually been to once before. It was really good. It obviously caters a lot to tourists, especially Americans. I mean, they even take USD, but you know, it's like right over there is the harbor and stuff, and down the street is the actual base entrance. So yeah, this place is really good, or at least it was. I'm looking forward to checking it out again. That was fantastic. So they had honey cheese naan. I'd never seen that before. It's like cheese naan like you've seen in the past. Here, cheese naan isn't just like sprinkled cheese. It's almost like they make it into a pizza minus the sauce. It's really good. And here they added honey to it, which must be a thing, because like honeybee burgers over there, and they just put honey on stuff. I don't know if they think that that's what like Americans want, but either way, it was good. And I'm an American, I admit I wanted it. It was good. Then the butter chicken was very good. Usually I would get a mutton paneer, but they don't seem to do that in Japan. So butter chicken is the prototypical white people thing. So we just went with that, the safe one, if you will. And then added some rice. The whole thing was just, oh, it was fantastic. Highly recommend it. If you're ever out in this area and you want some Indian food, this is a good spot. Also, this one will actually do spicy stuff because they don't cater specifically to the Japanese. They do Japanese tastes, but they also expect a lot of tourists and a lot of, especially Americans, since they take USD and everything. So they have a spice level. I got the medium, and it was just perfect. Fun fact, if you look up my last name in a GIF search engine, kind of like in Discord or something like that, there's actually one of me standing right here drinking a Coca-Cola saying, ah, good, which is, of course, a Shenmue reference.
See, that's a cool Yokosuka tiger jacket, and it's got a whole bunch of places. Obviously, Yokosuka we're in, Okinawa, Hong Kong, which maybe we'll be going to soon, Taiwan, hopefully one day, Australia, I've been, Singapore, hopefully one day, Hawaii, I've been, I've showed you guys, South Korea one day, and Guam. You guys just saw me there. How cool is that?
So far, we're still fairly flat, not really much of an incline. I'm starting to think that this either isn't the right allotment, or Adam was just screwing with me, trying to hide all the good stuff from me.
So this line, small correction, is actually the border. Where I'm standing right now, still Japan. That side is the United States of America. I am technically standing in both countries at this moment. And now, I'm home, technically. That's like the control center where they, you know, double check to see if you can actually get on base. And for the record, only like military personnel can get on base, and then they can authorize civilians such as myself to get on. Really, the usual suspects of people that can even get on base is American citizens and, let's say, passport holders of friendly nations. Japan being the most obvious, since that's essentially where we are, but also places like Australia, etc. So once you're inside this little room, you'll notice that all the outlets are, of course, American, and even the high school American fountain, water fountain.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Adam's talking about. This has been a pretty short walk, honestly. It's been flat the whole time, so maybe there's a different station. Maybe he actually had to climb up that mountain over there. But yeah, no, this has been really easy.
Okay, so I've officially cleared American customs, and I am now back in the United States of America, and look how it opens up.
all of a sudden you're supposed to feel like you're in an American suburb, basically. Now, I'm not super, like, a huge expert in this area, of course, but, like, they have, you know, housing over here. The further in you get, which does require a car, which I don't have, it does look a lot more like an American suburb. But, you know, there's housing for, obviously, the troops. There's housing for visitors. This is actually a surprisingly big plot of land. You can see a fence over there. That's the border. So beyond that gate is still Japan, and on this side is America. And I had, like I said, I've been over here before, and my military buddy who got me in this time does not want to be on camera. Nobody wants to be on camera in this episode. Well, except for Matt, but he's busy doing other things. Or Sunshine, sorry. But one thing he told me is there's all these, like, you'll see Japanese, like, monuments. This is from when Japan still possessed this. They used to use this in World War II as, like, a hub. But America, I mean, for all the crap America gets, it did respect Japanese culture. It didn't tear down, like, those type of monuments and stuff you see there. There's shrines all over the place. They just left them up. They just kind of rebuilt this place in America's image. And the further into it you go, the less and less Japan it looks. So over there you can see an example of what I mean. Like, there's no way the US built those little, like, you know, the red part there, that's all Japanese, but the US chose not to destroy any of this stuff just because it's interesting, it's cultural. So this is cool because this is a stop sign, which should seem obvious to Americans, but in Japan, stop signs don't usually say stop. They don't usually have this, but also that doesn't look like an American stop sign. So it's just, again, the weird fusion of the two cultures coming together right there. See, when you're back here, USPS, the United States Postal Service, you can just drop letters in there and have them sent to other parts of America. And NX or NEX, again, I'm not Navy. I know that that's like a thing, that's a Navy thing. So there they would have a barber service. There's like some sort of store. So over here, you can see the shipyards. So yeah, I assume currently they're just doing maintenance and that kind of thing, but yeah, they're just parked out here. They do repairs. You see obviously US flags everywhere. I'm not in the Navy. I don't know the terms for these type of things, but it's cool to see. This is kind of a nice little intersection. Like, again, there are some odd differences, the stop signs being different, obviously driving on a different side of the road, etc. But this is a very Americana suburb shot. You know, I don't know how else to put it. Like, Japan, if you've seen it in some of the other footage, is not usually this open. It's usually very condensed. So this would be kind of an American-style fire hydrant. Granted, this one was built in 1976, but yeah, the Japanese don't really use this kind of fire hydrant.
I love the fact that the crates are these stairs here. They do actually become real stairs eventually.
An American McDonald's, because we are in America, and it's just as terrible as it is at home. So yeah, if you were to come inside and sit down, you see they have the American-style power outlet. Everything's fully in English, the menu's in English. This is an American McDonald's. Of course, it has free Wi-Fi, which is cool of them to do. I remember actually the last time I was in here, there was this big issue where the plumbing wasn't working, and they had a whole bunch of guys like running around trying to figure that out. What's up, my fellow American, Chicago native, Ronald McDonald. So of course you can observe the street signs are obviously in English, but they're also just usually based on American things. So we've got McCormick Street, Hart Street, there's places like San Diego Street. So right here, we're getting into the more, what I guess you would call the touristy type of area. So this is the big, the bowling center. It's a big bowling alley and stuff. This is a kind of the American adopt a park model. So this would be this big park that actually, I'm not gonna say it's designed in the image of like a Central Park in New York, minus homeless people. You know, it's designed to look more like an American park with just kind of flat grass that's like cut, and then just kind of trees growing around, benches, that type of thing. So here we're like at the American fast food type of mall. So we've gone inside. As you can see, that's the American Subway. Popeye's Kitchen over there. Which, big shout out to Joe. I'll thank him for his service by pointing out there's another Popeyes out here. Taste of Asia, which that is not American. I've never heard of that. Here we have the American Baskin Robbins. We've got Cinnabon, and I think the only Panda Express in this region that isn't in Guam, which is pretty cool. So this is a nice little map of the area. Again, everything in white would be US soil, and then everything I guess they call private property for some reason is Japan, but okay. But yeah, it just gives you a basic idea of where everything is. Free Wi-Fi spots, where we are currently, which is the little, like, I guess I would call it an American fast food court. Post office, yeah, just stuff around here. Actually, I would love to take you guys up here. This area, there was a cool store that actually used to have a Blockbuster in it, like a very small one, but we physically cannot get there on foot. and don't have a car at the moment. But you can see stuff. They got a middle school here, elementary school, there's a high school. Like, this is America. Like, very hyper concentrated into one little area. It's pretty cool.
Well, here we are at Book Off. On a mountain scale, there's plenty of them around, but the walk here was definitely about a brisk walk through Kansas. Yeah, I'd say Adam was either lying to me or I went to the wrong one. Either way, let's see what treasures await.
A lot of time people are stationed here, they bring their families. If they got kids, kids got to go to school. They're going to keep them in the U.S., in a U.S. school. And again, oh, there's a Taco Bell over there. There's a Taco Bell over there. So this whole side is just kind of, honestly, it's like if you're living in Japan as part of the whole military thing, and you're just like, I just don't want to be in Japan, I want to be in America and feel like I'm in America. So we got an American style bus station, along with American style like shopping carts, because that's the commissary store. So that's actually kind of like a Walmart, Target, Best Buy type of thing. In fact, I think the electronics are actually provided by Best Buy. Here there's a laundromat. We move along, there's this like store for children's goods and things like that. We can go into this one, which is like the main entrance to all this. Oh, they have Yokosuka maps. The future of Japan and the United States depended and still depends on our mutual friendship and alliance.
You know, it's funny walking around here. A lot of people that have been here, it's like, dude, it's basically just like you're going into a department store in like Iowa. Why is this so exciting or interesting? To me, it's just kind of the novelty of it, but I also feel just kind of, you know, it's patriotic to an extent. It's just, it's cool to see like your culture is just part of this culture, and I don't know how else to phrase it. It's just, you know, I love that the U.S. government does this for its troops, that it builds these things to make them feel at home wherever they are, because, you know, regardless of what you feel about military and all that sort of stuff, support the troops at the end of the day. And if this makes the troops feel better, feel more pride, feel happier, then this is a good thing to do. So to anyone who's ever served or ever will serve, thank you for your service, including Joseph.
So I'm no expert on this, but I do know the electronic stuff is actually all officially Best Buy. It's all licensed to be here by them. The various stores are actually licensed by various companies. We have Xbox Series X in stock. I think there's PS5s around. There are Switches for sure. Yeah, and like this is a merger of multiple different stores that all do this together. And I believe, of course, this doesn't apply to me, but people who are actually like stationed here and all that sort of stuff, people who are actually military, they actually don't pay sales tax or anything like that. Just again, you know, you support the country, it supports you back. See how free I feel now? Look at that. There you go. Shout out to Aldo, aka Thorax of Japanada, and his love for Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I would totally get you a Cinnamon Toast Crunch bar, but you can't have this. Sorry, it's too free for you. This one is multiple layers of confusing. This thing called Cafe au Lait American. I've seen this exactly 2 times ever. Right now, and at the other commissary here in Yokosuka. I have never seen this anywhere else. And it feels like multiple layers. It's like, okay, it's a Japanese drink promising to be what like Americans like, but only sold on the American base in Japan. Like, do you realize how many hats on a hat that is? So beyond that's like the grocery section that we were just in. Over here is like the fancier, more like, you know, you see high-end brands, retail stuff. It might be donated by like Macy's. I'm not totally sure, but it's cool to see. So over here is like a little gift shop that's kind of got a lot of very Japanese stuff and like pro-US Japan relations type of stuff throughout. It's, you know, very Japanesey stuff that you can ship out. So inside there's also this American Grill and Anthony's Pizza, and there's a Baskin Robbins with sort of a Dunkin' Donuts attached. So this actually shows all the exchange stores like this that exist in the US. So you have all the ones that are on the mainland, of course. There's a lot in California, out here on the East Coast, etc. You got one basically at my turf. What about that? Got the Hawaiian bases. Then you have some of the international ones. We got the Japanese ones, which we're at. Guam, which we just came from. Singapore. Portugal, that's pretty cool. Shout out to my girlfriend. Spain, Italy, other parts of Europe. And then the kind of awkward one in Cuba, but there it is. I believe this is the only Dunkin' Donuts in Japan as a result. Dunkin' Donuts actually bought Baskin Robbins, said like it makes sense they're together, but why Dunkin' Donuts doesn't exist elsewhere in Japan, I'm not sure. And for the record, anybody who's international, Anthony's Pizza and American Grill, never heard of them before. They are not real things.
Well, nothing too special out there. Just got a few things out of the junk bins. Yeah, not really worth the trip, but yet again, it wasn't very hard to get out here. So there's another Tatsuya over here, so I'm gonna go walk over to that.
And of course we have an official USPS post office, not just the box. You can see the USPS logo back there, kind of an older logo actually, but military post office. So even though I'm an American, I can't actually use this, only military personnel can. But the advantage to doing so is that it's domestic shipping. So shipping it out of here would be like shipping it from like New York to Ohio or something like that. That's a military perk. If you sign up, you thank them for their service, that's how one of the ways they thank you back.
Well, that was anticlimactic. Didn't get anything at Sudaya. Yeah, didn't even get to go on top of a mountain. I mean, there's plenty of mountains around here.
So this is cool. They even have like a little sports arena. I think that's probably like if high school students like have like PE and there's, you know, some baseball or football or any of that sort of stuff is all done there. It's a cool little anchor thing. Now this is neat. So the post office is there and they actually have a pack and wrap type of thing here. So if you have big packages that you're sending out, again, this doesn't apply to me, I can't ship stuff, but if you can bring it over there, they'll pack it up for you, then you take it over there and you ship it. So we thought we'd give you a little bit more of the harbor look here. So out there is straight up proper Japan, where we are is still the United States. You can actually see the Imperial Japanese flag over there to some extent. And over here is where the border is. If we'll go closer over there, but from here you can kind of see it. There's like this big steel grated fence, and that's where America ends and Japan begins. You can kind of actually see it right here where my finger is. The right side's America, left side's Japan.
All right, I think I'm just doing it to myself. I just wanted to confirm, I think this is the route Adam took, and we'll be climbing that mountain on the way back. Yeah, I just hate myself. It's all good.
So we'll go for a little walk here along the harbor, which is pretty neat. So there's all these little barricades. I don't pretend to know what they are other than maybe just tidal stuff. I know that people who are stationed here can own yachts and boats and things like that if they want. Of course, you can see the McDonald's down there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of just glance at the area. There's only so much I can show you. I'm a civilian. I'm here as a tourist, you know, with the, you know, association of a friend who got me on. I also don't have a car, so I'm a little bit limited. But yeah, this is just a kind of a sense of what it's like to be on one of these bases. You know, it's not just like military equipment everywhere. Like, people live here, man. Like, this is culture. You know, there's lots of stuff going on. It's pretty cool. But you see the fusion here, and how do I phrase this? Kind of the way Walt Disney, he had this idea that Disneyland would work best if you kind of encompassed it. Like, that's why Disneyland has that wall all around it. You're supposed to feel immersed in that universe. That's what this is. It kind of goes out of its way to make you perpetually feel like you're in the United States right now. You're not in Japan right now, you're in the United States. Because legally, again, as I keep saying, you are. But it also feels like it. That's the key. I mean, look at that. Super McDonald's. The truly American McDonald's. Which is a little embarrassing as someone from Chicago, because we gave the world that. On the left, that's still the United States. That island is called Monkey Island, like for real, that's what it's called. It's got a Japanese name, which I don't remember. But over here, this is Japan. So you can see that like metal fence. So right here is the border between the United States and Japan. We're still standing in the US, but this gated fence, for obvious reasons, like right beyond that, this is all, you're back in Japan. And so they have all these barricades and fencing and barbed wire, etc. It's like, out there, we do this. I'm touching Japan, I'm touching Japan. So right here, once again, the fence, pretty cool. As you can see, even there's like Japanese kids like exercising stuff. That's straight up, you're in Japan there. And the fence here we're still in the United States of America on McCormick Street specifically. It's about as American of a name as you can get. We're walking along, seeing these kids, they're playing tennis. There's sports balls and stuff involved. And you gotta wonder, is this the best possible premise for a Sandlot sequel? Ball goes over the fence, and they have to do this thing where they try to go to another country to get it, and then it like becomes a whole big thing of Japan versus America. Check it out, it's kind of happened before. Look at that, it's kind of in no man's land between both countries, a random ball that no one will ever own ever again.
We're here basically on top of the mountain. I think that Adam went to. We believe that there might have been a news station, or he just up and went to the wrong station. But yeah, it's a nice view up here. It was worth the hike. Not really not too bad of a hike, honestly.
So obviously they have their own American hospitals over here. This is like, you know, a big combo effort. That's why you see both flags and everything. This just like the Shenmue fan in me can't help but think every time Rio beat up a bunch of guys, they went right into this building. This is where that happened. Those little green booths are customs check, which is not really customs. Basically, we just hand them a piece of paper and say we're leaving. It's not like normal Japanese passport customs or anything like that. It's basically, oh, you're going? All right, see you. Now that I've left America, I feel the freedom just flying out of me. Back in Japan, I have no rights. Oh man, it's crazy over here. How do you guys live like this? I'm kidding. If you don't have access to the base and no way to do it, this is kind of another little back door to at least sort of see it. In here, you can buy a ticket, and there's like a boat cruise out on the pier, and they'll take you around the American side, and you can actually see, you know, what's visible publicly. But this is just kind of a cool thing. I've never actually done this, but I know people who have. So this is all the Japanese side on the left. This is the tour boat I was just talking about. Out there, those are actually Japanese ships. I guess we're at war. Actually, I have no idea what that's about. That's kind of cool. But that side's the American side, and they're probably doing something, some drill or something, or it's just a notification that this boat's about to leave, which is, like I said, the tour goes around the harbor and through there, and then you can kind of see the American side without actually being there. But yeah, so you can kind of see the gated fences there, barbed wire fences, that all be the American side. I'll take you over there because I think there's a definitive border point, but I haven't been to that side before. But if you've ever played Shenmue, like if you're walking along in the harbor and, you know, kind of around the forklift area, this would be roughly that. Old guys fishing and stuff right here, which you can't actually do in real life. Although there are designated fishing spots, especially on the American side, interestingly. This would be about that area. But just as a normal tourist, if you're just like, what's this all about? Like I said, you can take this and you can go see all that stuff that you can't actually go in the base, but you see the other side of it. So this is actually a really good map of the cruise. So you see the red line there? It starts right here at the harbor bay, and then it cruises all around that other island there. But it gets a very good look at the American side on the right. Yeah, walking around both sides is pretty cool. It's too bad it wasn't sunnier when we were on the American side. I apologize. Granted, it's not my fault, Sunshine's fault. You know, with what he does all day, going off to mountains and all that.
I found bees.
I decided to take a little detour for Shenmue fans specifically. If you do play the game, this building is the inspiration for Ryo Hazuki's house. Of course, the main character there. This is roughly what his house would be like, and the dojo part would be over there, along with this horrible staircase for my fat butt. But yeah, I also got the Pluto out here. So it's like we got this weird Sega history thing going on. Of course, I set up the little guide maps there and everything. But yeah. For me, this is just a really cool, special thing to see, and I hope some of you guys really just appreciate it, even if you don't care about the video game element of it, just the coolness, the historical element, the Japanese element, if you will. It's very neat to be here. Ryo Hazuki, if you had to actually live there and walk this route every day from Suka High School to here, you should just move, dude. You should just move.
Hey, Adam, you can suck it. Japan does hide cool shit on top of the mountains. So you can kind of see here on the back of Godzilla, appears to be a slide of some sort. So the children just kind of get pooped out here on the back here. Kind of an interesting visual for you.
Everything about this, where the tattoo part was like hidden in there, for Shenmue fans, this just screams Charlie and like looking for his tattoo shop. Well, it's not his shop, but you know what I'm talking about if you're a fan. So we have reached the end of our time in Yokosuka here. So Brett's gonna go on his own way. He's an adult, he's got other things to do. I'm gonna meet up with Sunshine and we're gonna bounce. And as you can see, we're about to leave the neutral zone and we're back in proper Japan. So look who I found. Yeah, Sunshine's back. He had a nice adventure, maybe, probably, you saw it. He's got some footage, it's in there, you saw it. Anyway, he also was a little hungry before we go to dinner. He wants pre-dinner. What do you got?
I got avocado and cheese Doritos, so hopefully this holds me over. Yeah, it tastes a lot like Cool Ranch.
Yeah, it's Cool Ranch. It totally is Cool Ranch.
Exactly, it's Cool Ranch with green.
It's exactly green food coloring and Cool Ranch. You're not missing anything special, but they're good if you like Cool Ranch Doritos. Where are we at? What are we doing?
Shabu Shabu.
All right, so what's Shabu Shabu?
Japanese meat and vegetables cooked in soup.
How is this different from yakiniku?
Yakiniku is barbecued.
Oh,
on a
okay.
grill.
So this has like a hot plate.
Yep.
And there's like bowls of liquid.
Yeah, it'll come shortly. You'll
All
see.
right, we'll see. All right.
Also, welcome back, Alder. How you doing?
Oh, thanks. I'm doing pretty good.
Were you doing Canadian stuff today?
No, work stuff.
So this is the first thing that came out. We chose these two sauces, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what are they? Do you remember?
Spicy sauce and sukiyaki sauce.
What's the second one?
Sukiyaki.
Sukiyaki sauce. What's sukiyaki sauce?
I don't know. It's delicious.
It's like a sweeter sauce.
So we got a sweet sauce and a spicy sauce. All right, we can go with
right.
we can go with that. We can go with that. What are we doing with the eggs here?
Oh, it's your dipping sauce for the meat coming out of the sukiyaki.
So you, after you've cooked it in there, you dip it in there.
And then you put it in your mouth.
Okay. And what do you think of this?
Yeah, I prefer Adamo, honestly.
Yeah, I would be cool if, I mean, raw eggs, I'm okay with the yolk part. I've been doing it, but like, I don't want to just treat it as a dipping sauce. This isn't barbecue sauce, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna cook mine.
Yeah. Well, how do you cook it? You just chuck it in there?
Just throw in the sauce.
So in case this isn't clear, there's this little tablet deal we've been clicking on, and you just basically get infinite go until they kick us out of here, which is about an hour from now. And so ultimately, every single one of these things, we just chuck them in these sauces, and we just eat and eat and eat and get fatter and fatter and fatter. It's awesome. I would say it's American, but it's quintessentially not.
So we've added a whole bunch of vegetation and things, and Sunshine here is just pouring it into a bowl, and I guess you just kind of eat it like an assorted soup.
Yep.
Right?
That's the gist of it.
So we've been eating a lot of meat. We're all pretty full. And Aldo here is getting us all set up. It's time for dessert. Accidentally orders all this meat again. Why did you do this to us?
Because I pushed the button one time. It looked like it didn't go through, so I pushed it again. Turns out we got double the order.
We trusted your Japanese skills. We trusted you.
It wasn't the Japanese. It was set to English.
Yeah, well, then your Canadian skills failed us. But either way, this is the result, which I know looks amazing, and it has been. But we've been eating for a while, so this is kind of intense.
They brought us our dessert before we are ready to go, which is a sign of get out.
Now our failure is complete. Look at all this meat we can't, between the three of us, we just can't do it. Meat sweats, man. It was good though. It's really good.
We're doing a little Shinjuku Adventure, walk off some of the meat sweats. So we stopped in this store. Now the reason we did that is we were here the other day and we saw a controller that just kind of really threw us off. This one. This is by a company called Retro Fighters. It's an updated controller for the NES. Why does that matter? I know the guys who made this, and I was stunned to see it because it's the first controller they ever made. This is like a modern store. They sell PS5s and stuff. They should not have this. So I actually tweeted, I took a photo of this, I tweeted at the guys who make it, and I was like, any idea? And they were like, no, we have not seen one of those in years. And they were never authorized for sale in Japan. So he was looking at the box, and he's like, oh, NES and PC. And then I was like, right, it doesn't work on Famicom, which is the Japanese version of the NES. Why it is here, no clue.
I just want to take a second to thank you guys for kind of putting up with me in this episode, because I'm sure it was a little weird, because Brett didn't want to be on camera. But to be clear, Brett is from New Zealand, and he's Japanese resident. He has no military access. He's wanted to go to that base for 20 years, but has never been allowed to until today. Then, of course, I have a military friend who wanted us to get on base and could take us on base and did take us on base, but is unwilling to be on camera because he didn't want to be associated, militarily speaking, with the video. It's fair. And then Matt just kind of had to go do his own thing. So it's kind of weird. It's like I'm walking with some people and you're not seeing any of them. So I know that was a little odd, but thank you for your patience. Thank you for your service. So it dawned on me, I never actually told you guys what we were going to do with this. This is actually bound for Ireland. There's a member in my Discord named Miriel Lucky O'Charms. He actually briefly was in a video once. If you watched the Seattle video, we sent him something and he got to eat pickle taffy live. That was fun. He had a great time with that. Anyway, so he wanted this, so it's going to go out there. Also, I thought keep the tradition going. Find him some sort of green candy. I got this. I don't know what this is. Green Dakara candy. It consists of what looks like yellow apples, tomatoes, lemons, I want to say a lime, tangerine or orange, muscats or green grapes, and meth? I have no idea.
Hi, this is Oliver here, aka me real Lucky O'Charms from Adam's Discord. I just got this awesome NES controller from Adam. Thank you very much. This is great. I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. And also this green Dakara candy from Japan. No clue based on the packaging what flavor the sweets are. So I'm just going to give this a try. That's actually not bad. And that is, I would describe that as a barley flavor, or a sweet barley, if that makes sense, which is very on brand for me.
If you guys could do me a favor, please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done that already, and stay tuned to the 12th and final part of this series. We're going to do some shopping, we're going to explore Akihabara because you guys like that, and eventually we actually go home. I know I do have a home somewhere, right? Anyway, so thank you very much. If you guys could also hit up the social media stuff in the description, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, etc. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.